Welcome everyone, this is Viking, and I'm going to run through the 355th Rotary Club mission that I currently have on Pono's training server. Gonna sort of narrate what I do as I do it, so without further ado, let's start the aircraft. Batteries, generators, fuel pumps, fuel quantity, fire extinguisher, APU fuel, engine fuel. Start the APU, turn on this because it takes a while to warm up, ditto for that. Open the fuel valves, release the rotor brake, close the door because it's noisy, switch this to ground crew because you might forget later. And with the door closed, you have to be able to use the radio to talk to them. That was the electronic engine governors, and this is the transmission. This is a countermeasures thing, that's the laser detection thing, and that's the inertial navigation unit. Now that the APU is spun up, we can clear this error message and start up the left engine. We'll close some of these switch covers to make sure we don't accidentally switch them off later. That would be bad. Let's light it up. That's the formation lights, blade tip lights, anti-collision beacon. I'm leaving the standby SAI off because I hate it. Alright, ejection seat up, and close the cover. And let's switch on all our radios, so if we actually do want to talk to the ground crew, that will be fruitful. IFF on, always a good thing to check. And what am I missing over here? Oh right, I said light it up and I forgot the nav lights to full power. Also engine dust protection while I'm up here. Engine RPMs are up to 70%, which means we switch this over to the other one and hit start. I'm going to switch on the verbose ACRAN messages thing. Instead of saying watch ACRAN, it'll actually verbally tell you what's up. When I fire the gun, first it's going to be at the low rate of fire. And that's to operational. I'm going to put waypoint 2. Normally you'd put 1. I'm going to put 2. Puts me over to flight lead. I'm actually solo, so it's moot. Put that down to radar altitude hold. Let's turn on the flare dispenser. Second engine is almost spooled up. When the second engine spools up, we hit page up twice. 1, 2.
Electrics on battery.
And we note the time.
Doppler navigation system failure.
12:03. That's when we throttled up. That starts the alignment cycle on our inertial navigation unit. And it means we can turn off the fuel to the APU. You'll hear that go down now. Pew. While I'm back here, I'm going to switch my VHF-1 radio to channel 8, and once I do that, it's not tuned. You got to hold down the tune button until that yellow light goes out. Then you can release it. I feel like I'm missing something. Fire extinguisher. Forget that one sometimes. Oh yeah. Altitude warning at 50 meters. Because I dip below 100 all the time. Switch this nav, and because we're doing waypoint 2, hit suspend 1 time. Then switch it to map so that you've got scale buttons. Scale out, I like to be able to see where I'm going. Wink. Anyway, yeah, it said we started up, or throttled up at 12:03, so that means we gotta wait 3 minutes, so at 12:06 we're ready to take off. Probably you're usually gonna be good taking off at 2.5 minutes, so we're just gonna say screw it and take off at 12:05:30. I'm going to program my countermeasures while we wait. I'm going to flip this over to middle. It says 128 instead of 64. That means flares are going to come out of both sides of the aircraft. And then I switch this over from a quantity reading, I've got 128 of them, to a program, 110. I'm going to change it to 4, 3, 2, which means that 4 times, 2 seconds apart, 3 flares will be released. No, wait. Yeah, it does. 4 times, 3... 2 seconds apart, 3 flares will be released, yeah. Out of each side of the aircraft. Alright, it's 12:05:30. Oh, right control enter. That's what I was forgetting. I'm going to trim the aircraft forward by about this much. And trim the rudder left about this much. And I'm going to hit W to tap the wheel brake and release that. And then increase collective. Try to keep... Whoops. Backed off on the collective a little too much. And trimming, turning off flight director and going into auto hover. Now I'm going to raise the landing gear. Then press Shift H to release heading hold. Spin yourself around with the rudder. Auto hover should keep you pretty stable if you trimmed your aircraft well. I apparently did not. I'm a little bit out of position, but not much. Not enough to worry me. When it comes on, Shift H again, and it'll pull you right onto target. Alright, I'm going to turn off my anti-collision beacon, because I figure everybody's seen me by now. Turn off auto hover, turn on flight director, turn off altitude hold, tip forward, and let's go. I've got my collective up to like I'm using my throttle for that, and it's up to the first detente. I don't like to go too much over that, because if you do, watch what lights come on here. That means that you're in danger of a rotor strike. Your rotor blades are getting too close together. If you're flying straight and level, they'll probably and at a reasonable altitude, they'll probably never collide, and you'll be okay. But any sudden maneuvers could actually cause a rotor strike, and your rotors will just all come off all at once. Happened to me once at 8,000 feet, but that is plenty of time to eject. Had to wait until it rolled right side up, though. That was a fun wait. Now, on the way to our waypoint, there's a lot of varied terrain, a lot of opportunity to sort of play around with the low altitude nature of the helicopter. Hey, I forgot to turn off dust protection. I don't need that anymore. I'm going fast enough that it don't matter. So I'm going to turn off flight director and turn it back on again so I can control things. As long as your aircraft is well trimmed, you should always be trimming it just a little bit every so often, then you can just release flight director and the thing will steer for you. Altitude's in the upper right there, that's in meters. If I activate altitude hold, it will keep me at 15 meters. I'm just going to pass through into 15 meters here. Come on. But it doesn't look ahead of you. It really only looks just, well, I mean, it looks a little bit ahead of you, but not much. So you can't trust it to go over this hill. Now, I've got flight director off, so I mean, the aircraft is flying itself at this point, but it's doing a good job of maintaining 14. And when it comes up to this, I'm not even going to switch to flight director. I'm just going to pull back on the stick, just override the autopilot. It's trying to control my altitude and keep it low, but I'm forcing it up and over, which it should thank me for. Oh, we're going over a forest, which means 16 meters isn't high enough to clear the treetops. So I'm still holding it back a fair bit. I'm still fighting the autopilot. But now that we're coming over it, and it's still a bit uneven. You know, screw that. Altitude hold and flight director. Altitude hold off, flight director on. I'm gonna actually speed this up a little bit because 200 is too slow. Maximum speed's about 300. And as you can see, that by that power limit thing, I'm pushing it a little bit. We are 30 kilometers from our target, actually probably a lot less than that, so we're going to fence in, nav lights off, confirm that dust protection is off, master arm on, down here blade tip lights off, these are the formation lights, leave them on, confirm that anti-collision beacon is off. Alright, let's do a little more fancy flying. Yeah, see, I'm overspeeding the aircraft, and you can get away with that in a dive, but man, you better correct it promptly. I'm gonna try and bring my trim in a little bit. I think it's a bit more drastic than it needs to be. Basing that on the picture from that right control enter display. Yeah. That's gonna make things a little easier to control. We're coming up on a city. Let's go low and fast through here. You can't crash into trees, but I feel like I should at least try to avoid them. Yeah, I think my rotors probably would have clipped that. Anyway, I said city, but that was actually just the town. This is the city, and the fact that we're getting close to it means we should probably try and get a fix on our target, which we will do from elevation. I think I'm still on radar altitude hold. Now, let me just trim this out a little bit. Ugh. Okay, that's close enough. I'm still on, yep, so we'll switch that up to barometric because we're soon going to be above 300 meters, which means we gotta use the barometric. Radar altitude's out of range. Gonna clean up the trim a little bit. Alright, it's not a perfect hover, but it's good enough for recon. Somewhere out here. I just gave it a little more collective. I'm not high enough. Somewhere on this island. Like, it's this side of the river, so I figure if I follow the river... Hey, there we go. Alright. What I'm going to do is turn on my laser. And lock on. And store that as Area 3. Then, I'm going to kill the laser. Nix that targeting thing. And then I'm going to go the reset button is down here. And then I'm going to go 3 DL ingress, and that marks it right here on the map. And then if I press O to turn on my Schval, it goes right back onto target. So, and it displays the range up there. So I'm going to zip over to a good firing position. I'm going to keep the waypoint off to my left there, because I want to approach it at a different angle. Now we get to have some fun. Let's rein that trim in a bit if we can. Alright. I think that should be good. Yeah. No, that's a little tight. That's a little tight. Helicopters are fun, y'all. 5 meters. 5 meters. You all saw it. Whoops. I'm a little off course. I gotta turn right at some point. No time like the present. Okay. I got, if I'd done that without the rockets there, I would have been light enough to have pulled that off. Or even a little less fuel, but I just couldn't quite. Not with a full load. 3.5 kilometers away. Probably should head left at some point, but that'll be after I go around this. My switch to gun is my pinky button, and I was gripping the stick so tightly that at some point I switched my cannon on. Glad I didn't grip the trigger like that. Alright, 1.8 kilometers. I actually should have slowed down earlier. This is fine. 1.5 is good too. Whoops. Alright, so Schval onto target, because we still got that DL ingress shit going on. And target acquired. That'll hold it steady until I slew over. Okay. Now, 1.5 is maybe... nah, it's good. It's good range. It's good range. But I do want to gain some altitude, though. So... we've pretty... nah, it's not quite trimmed. It's not quite trimmed. Okay, good enough. Up we go. It's really best... these rockets are not accurate, so firing down is a good thing. Unfortunately, it makes you drift forward, and I feel like I'm at sort of min-range right now, but whatever. There's only 10 of them. I'm gonna switch that laser back on. And you know what, I kind of overshot the mark a little bit. I wanted to line these guys up so that, but you know what, this is good. This is a good spot. That's a good spot to aim at. Alright. I'm gonna bump this up to medium so that it fires 4 rockets at once. I'm gonna bring the collector down so I'm not gaining so much altitude. And turn on flight director. Let's blow up some army guys. Oh yeah, I should also turn on ground target. I know they're not actually moving, but whatever. I'm not very good at rockets, I should stress this. Okay, well, one of them hit. Whoops. It's not gonna vortex, but it almost did. Yeah, man. I'm just not that great with rockets. Alright, let's aim in this general vicinity. Where are y'all at? Okay, got some of them. Alright, well, I got one more pair of rockets. So let's make them count. And we're out of here. Laser off, because it's good to let that thing cool. I'm gonna turn that off too. We're a little too close for comfort, if you ask me, so I'm just gonna... I mean, all we've got are RPGs and assault rifles, but better safe than sorry. Let's just back off a tick, hey? Yeah. Alright, so that's pretty close to a hover. Trim it. Too much. Okay, there we go. Auto hover. Whoops. We're gonna... And then we're gonna ground target and turn towards target. And activate the gun on purpose this time. Switch the laser back on. And let's put a couple of rounds down range. At this range, the gun is really accurate. Just firing a couple of rounds is enough. Oops, it's drifting. Okay, what we really want are these kneeling guys. Because they have RPGs. As long as we take out the RPGs, then the inbound strikers will mop up the rest of the assault rifle guys. So we gotta take a look and find kneeling ones. Or just, tightly packed ones, what the hell. Man, nothing. Oh, by the way, I'm actually doing something really stupid. What I'm doing is I'm getting a new range estimate on the target every time. And that'll actually heat your laser up pretty quick. So as long as you're firing at the same range, don't lock the target, because that way your laser will generate less heat. If the range seems to be off, then range it again. No kneelers, but I mean you're all just standing right there. This guy's a kneeler. Huh, maybe we do need range. Alright. There we go. And all of y'all are standing way too close to that kneeler. Huh. He survived that. Will he survive this? He will not. Oh, look at you. Still there. Tenacious motherfucker, you. There you go. Alright. Trucky. Ooh, that's a kneeler. That's a kneeler too. Kneeler down. Kneeler down. And those two guys are gonna have some serious survivor skill. Alright, let's do a look here. You all by your lonesome, you have no kneelers. Yeah. Alright, that'll do. Let's gain some altitude. Because we have some armor to look for. Okay. That's the rotor strike warning. That means I gave it way too much collective. And that's fair. I did. Okay, now it's not complaining. Actually, 600 meters will do. Let's bring it back. I'm gonna turn to target preemptively because I want the helicopter to turn in the direction I look. Whoop. Because I still have this on. I'm a dummy. Alright. I want the helicopter to turn in the direction I look because I turned the squall on with DL ingress still on. It tried to look at the troops again. Barometric, altitude hold on. Not in hover exactly, but my speed is 8 kilometers per hour at 9. I'll shape it up in a minute, but first I want to get a sense of where the enemy is. Where are you all at? Ooh. Too close. Too close. Okay. They've already made it to this bridge, huh? Well, nice and high up. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this as area number 2. And then area number 1, area number 2, DL ingress. So I can snap back on that, put the helmet sight away. And then I'm going to use this time to fly backwards. Altitude hold off. I want to be able to mix that up a little. And I'm not going to trim as I fly backwards because I want to be able to drift to a halt just by releasing the stick. And the range to that area is on my HUD, 5.5. Still a little too close for me. Still a little too close for me. Let's take a look at it here. Alright, well. There's nothing to be done about it now, they're just too damn close. Okay, that'll do. 15 is a bit fast, but it'll do. I want to be able to fire my weapons outside parameters, activate the Vickers, down they go. Whoops, switch this back to short so I'm only firing one at a time. Oh, and activate altitude hold. You're going to lose weight as you fire Vickers and you'll find yourself drifting upwards if you don't put on altitude hold. Thank you. I want to see if I can cut that guy off before he gets to the forest. Remember, trees aren't solid, so this missile has a pretty good chance of hitting. Alright, where's the second convoy? We gotta make sure they know what time it is. What's my altitude? 837? That's pretty high up, man. I'm kind of surprised I don't have a better angle on this. I'm worried that I may be running out of time. I'm just gonna cut for a moment here. Boom, that's a hit. Alright. I'll be right back, I hope. Okay, yeah. I'm good to go. We're back. Now, I'm not happy with my angle here. Wow, this tenacious little bastard's just gonna keep going, hey? Just like I'm not even here. See how that works out for you. Actually, I'm not happy with my aim point. I'm gonna adjust it. There we go. That's that ticket. I see one of you here. Looks pretty good. Uh-oh. I don't think it was good. I don't think it was good. Wow, this is basically point blank for a Vicar. I'm surprised. Alright. We'll aim more for the turret. Is there one right behind him? I think there is. There you go. Alright, right there. Is that a guy? Yeah, that's a guy. Boy, he is hard to see now, hey? Alright, I think I aimed at his turret. You know what, let's ride that puppy in. Ooh. Holy shit, the last striker was killed? How'd that happen? Huh. Okay, well. Guess I missed a bazooka guy. Or 3. Sorry, strikers. Try to clean that shit up. Wait a minute. Is that where that BMP was hiding? It is. It is. Alright, what else we got? Ooh, ooh. Found you. Found you. That's good. Alright, I'm going to turn off the laser because I worry that I'm overheating it a little bit. Like, I'm really probably not. Like, I just worry sometimes. Alright, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There should be 2 more. There was a total of 10 in the column. Well, let's just zoom in on this location, get a fix on it. We'll, Okay, so number 2, so we're saving it as area 3. And then laser off. And then we're going to go to area number 2. We're going to hit clear. That cleans that out. Area 3 is now area 2. 1, 2, yellow and grass. Right back on it. Might just have to keep an eye out. Wait for them to break cover. Well, I'm still drifting towards them. So I think I'm gonna take the opportunity to just correct the trim there and actually go into a proper hover. That's not quite right. There we go. That's a ticket. Alright, well, this could be a bit of a wait, so I'll come back when it's done. Oh dear, I think I see some movement. That's a tank. Vicar on. Oops, I don't have the laser on. The laser on. Shoot. And that's a kill. I wonder where that BMP is at. Oh! Found you. And that is the ball game. Thank you for playing. Alright, we're gonna switch it back to the first area 3. Try and get a sense of what's happening over there. Actually, you know what? From way up here, we're gonna have really good cannon accuracy. How far away are we? 2.4? That's no problem, man. Let's let them have it. Oh, but I am going to turn weapon restriction back online because if I'm not in the firing arc of the cannon, I don't want to waste the ammo. That's gonna land right on target, even at that distance. .4 is nothing. I can hit a truck at 3.5. I mean, it takes a little while for the shells to go down range, but firing from altitude, highest angle you can get, is a pretty good idea. Alright, that looks clear. Everybody there looks nicely. Oh, not you, not you. Let me spare your little survivor's guild here. Good night to you, sir. Oh. There's a fella. You can easily see the arc on those bullets. Shells. Oh, what have we here? It's a live one. If automatic turn to target is not getting you in the firing arc of the gun, you probably have a trim problem with your rudder. I know it seems weird to talk about a helicopter's rudder, but that's what this thing has. It also refers to differential torque between the two main rotors. The rudder's easier to say. Alright, that'll do. We've taken out the armor. That's down there. Do I hear something? I thought I heard gunfire. Let's take a look at the strikers. Look at that, there's the other 3 dead strikers still burning. Actually, I haven't made it to where the infantry is. But if we're all the way around back to the trucks, that means the infantry is dead. Turn that off, don't need it. Now we gotta find us some trucks. Actually, they should be on that road. Maybe what we should do is head on down there and see what we can see. We're gonna turn that laser back on just in case we need to fire the gun on short notice. I'm about to overspeed this aircraft, so let's pull up a little earlier than expected. I do not see them here, so let's just follow this road back into town. Now once again, I'm not trimming specifically so that it'll be easier for me to snap back to a hover. But normally, if I were going to be doing something like this, I would get my trim better than this. Like a lot better. This is obviously way out of whack because it's trimmed for a hover. And I'm manually holding the controls at a pretty high deflection when I don't really need to be. Part of the reason I'm staying so low is that coming to an abrupt halt in a helicopter is easier if you're allowed to gain altitude. I don't want to gain too much, I want to be able to look down and see them when I find them. Weasels. Oh. Whoops, hitching the computer there. Lost a few frames. I thought I saw him, but it might have just been the top of that building. Where are you, rascals? Supposed to be around here somewhere. If I was going to take this long, I would have just gone ahead and trimmed, but now I feel like I'm invested. God damn it, where are you? This is infuriating. Where are you supposed to be going? I'm all turned around now. Is it still this road? I'm not even sure if I'm following the right road anymore. It's terrible. This is why I need other people to fly this with me. Hey, 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 hey! Gotcha. Whoops. Ground moving target. Not that it made a difference this time. This is actually way too close. Really hard to get a good side picture. That's 1, 2. Is there a third? Did I take out 3? Yep, took out 3. Okay. Fair enough then. I think that probably did the lot of them. Holy shit, no. Huh. How about that? Alright then. Just gonna confirm we got all 3 here, although I'm sure we have. Kaboom. That is definitely 2 separate trucks. I can see it clearly. We're done here. And if that's all you want, then you can RTB and call it a day. But if you cross the river into the incursion zone, which is at waypoint 2, which we still got up, so let's head on over there, it will respawn anything that has been completely wiped out. If you take out all 10 armored units, the armor will respawn when you cross the river. If you take out all 96 infantry units, they will respawn when you cross the river. And if you take out all 6 trucks, they will respawn when you cross the river. And if you've done all 3 groups and you cross the river, they all respawn at once, and all 96 of those are going to spawn on top of the strikers, which means they're going to get blown up and you're going to get a nasty message again. I didn't have time to fix that, sorry. The river in question. We still on Bear Magic? Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Alright. It's this one. I'm just gonna cruise right on by. And infantry's respawn. Armored units, trucks, all respawned. The armored units and trucks take a while to get here. You can wait for them, but it's like 20 minutes. So you're probably going to want to go get them. But that means you'll be spending a lot of time in the incursion zone. As soon as you blow up the last one, more will spawn. That can be fun if you just want to keep the waves coming. If not, just back off, let them come to someone else, and it'll be an interesting encounter for them that won't get re-triggered, so long as they stay on the side of on the south side of the river, southeast side of the river. And of course the strikers were killed because tons of infantry just spawned on top of them. If I got this right. Let's see if I did. Whoa. Pay attention here. Shit. Alright, we want to go back to the airfield. So I'm just gonna... That's a terrible trim situation. I apologize for that, but we gotta go airfield 1. That's the one we took off from. Airfield 2 is the one we're supposed to land at, so in this case they're both the same one. You switch between them, nothing. Alright. And bring the trim back here, and bring the trim back here. I love flying through the city. Yeah, don't overspeed. That's very good advice. Find some interesting things to fly between and know that you basically can't be towed. You know, like, no wire guided nothing is gonna find you. Probably no other kind of guidance either, although, you know, heat sig might pick you up again. But if someone has to manually guide something, forget about it. See, I told you I could make a tight turn if I was lighter. Ah, I rode up a little higher than I meant to on that one. Whoops, overdid that one, overdid that one. Helicopters are fun. And the fact that this one's willing to fly itself lets you take a moment if you feel like it. Alright. Master arm off. Nav lights back on. Blade tips on. Yeah. Oh. I usually don't like to fly any faster than 270 because then I can dive down and do stuff like this, and I have a little bit of room with it. So usually when I'm cruising, it's between 250 and 270. Usually on the high side of that. Go to radar, altitude, hold. 28 meters of fine altitude. I'm gonna get a little closer to home and I'll be right back. Alright, now we're just a couple of minutes from landing. I'm gonna press Shift H and hard rudder and Shift H. Release the rudder so that the autopilot steers me back towards that. Little course correction. Ugh, man. Sorry, that was a track IR reset. Alright, we're close enough that I'm going to take control. Well, first I'm going to fly under power lines because that is the thing that I do. Do I have a treeless path here? I think I do. I think I do. If I turn into it? Nah, not really, not really, not really. Pretty close though. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy! Wow, I really almost blew that. That was too close for comfort. That one I did on purpose. That was fairly controlled, but the other one was a mistake. A little too close to that tree, too. Alright, enough fucking around. We're at the airfield. Let's lose some speed. And there's my landing spot. I see it now. It is right at the tip of my whatever that is. Airspeed measurer thingy. Let's drop the gear. Sorry about the track IR jerks. I have to look down to drop my gear. Just use G. Alright, came to a screeching halt a bit early there, but that's okay. No harm in kind of recentering here. I probably should have turned on engine dust protection before coming in, but it's too late now. Alrighty. Now you could shut everything off, you know, one at a time and everything, but if you kill the batteries and then you kill the fuel, complains for a little bit, but then it is out of juice. That's it. It's shut down. Lazy man's shutdown of a black shark. If you feel like it, you can like give it a second. Once it gets down to about like that speed, you can hit the rotor brake and it'll stop even quicker. All that shit will just keep respawning forever as long as someone feels like crossing the river. So, I mean, you can summon wave after wave without having to restart the server or anything like that. Cheers, have fun, everybody.